An out-of-control truck careens into a home.
I've never seen anything like this before.
All new at 11, why neighbors say this could have been a lot worse.
It's a huge disruption because there's no equivalent bus service.
Transit leaders addressing growing pains ahead of a multi-million-dollar upgrade.
We're sort of pulling off the Band-Aid, if you will.
How they're planning to fill the gap.
New revelations from calls placed in a jail cell.
I was selfish. I did something stupid. You can't pay for it.
The phone calls that convinced a judge to keep the man accused of killing a high schooler while racing behind bars.
Now, Channel 11 News. Coverage you can count on.
Caught on camera, a truck plowing through a fence, hitting 3 parked cars and then slamming into the deck behind a home. This happened this afternoon in Baldwin Borough.
We first brought you that story at 6 o'clock. Channel 11's Pete DeLuca joins us live now from Churchview Avenue with the very latest. Pete.
Rich and Lisa, we were here as crews worked to shore up this deck, securing it before they were able to pull that truck out from underneath. That's going to need a more permanent repair work done to it. And then over here you can see this fence will also need to be replaced. Wild surveillance video shows the moments this truck barreled off Churchview Avenue in Baldwin Borough, taking out a fence and 3 parked cars, pushing one into this deck and getting lodged underneath.
I heard the bang and I ran out and made sure everybody was okay.
Erica Hindman owns the pizza company right across the street and saw everything as it unfolded around 3:45 this afternoon. She called 911 as her business came to a temporary stop.
We couldn't deliver, we couldn't, have people come in. There was like 4 tow trucks, a couple cop cars, ambulance. Emergency
dispatchers say one person left the scene in an ambulance. Hindman says no one appeared to be hurt too badly. The same can't be said for this fence. It's going to need replacing. And this deck had to be secured before tow truck operators could pull out the truck.
I've never seen anything like this before.
It's unclear if the truck driver will face any charges. Residents say Churchview Avenue is a busy road in the afternoon and can often be dangerous. They're thankful the outcome wasn't worse.
People fly up and down the street and there's nobody pays attention to the stop signs down here.
It's pretty crazy. I mean, normally there's a lot of cars here and could be people walking through the parking lot. So luckily nobody was here.
Now, the owners of this house tell me they operated as an Airbnb rental and no one was home at the time of the crash. We're live tonight in Baldwin Borough. Pete DeLuca, Channel 11 News.
All right, Pete, thanks so much. New on 11 at 11 now. 4 people, including a child, were hurt in this 4-car crash off the West End Bridge. Officials say a car lost control right around 7 o'clock and started a series of collisions. All the victims were taken to the hospital in stable condition. West Carson Street was closed while crews cleaned up, but it has since reopened. Pittsburgh police are investigating. And more details now. Just 3 days ago, 6 people were taken to the hospital after a crash in the exact same spot. Pittsburgh police say a truck was making a left turn onto West Carson when it hit a sedan. A woman and 4 kids were inside that car. The Allegheny County Medical Examiner has just identified the man found dead outside an abandoned house. Only Channel 11 was there as detectives began their investigation on Steuben Street, that's in the city's Elliott neighborhood. 37-year-old Mark Kovac was found dead with multiple stab wounds. His body was found near the front of the house, down some steps that cannot be seen from the street.
I was just in my house and seen some cops, or heard some cops, and a crime scene van showed up, and I seen some homicide detectives show up. And just from what I gathered from what was going on, I'm assuming there's a body back there somewhere.
It's not clear what led up to that incident. The medical examiner will rule on the cause and manner of death at a later point.
Investigators say they're looking into the devastating deadly fire in Jeannette as a possible arson. A father and 4 young children died in that fire. Their mother and their 2 siblings were able to escape, and now police are trying to find answers as to how and why this happened.
The way we're handling it is as an arson until we determine otherwise, just because of the nature of what occurred. We don't want to be lackadaisical and not cover our bases if it turns out to be one. We won't know that until we get the report from the fire marshal.
Meantime, the principal at Jeannette McKee Elementary School says it was very difficult to process telling the students about the news. Kyson and Kisley John were both students there.
Every single kid just crying their eyes out. That teacher Mr. Alley, he was very emotional, that crying as well. Everybody processes things on their own timeline and in their own way, and all of that's okay. However you're feeling is okay.
School counselors from neighboring districts have been at the school to help students cope, along with local clergy members and the Salvation Army. And if you would like to help that family either through monetary or clothing donations, we have more information on our website, WPXI.com.
You are looking live downtown now from our tower cam. Fairly calm tonight. Pretty nice out there, but could rain dampen the start to your weekend? Pittsburgh's chief meteorologist Stephen Cropper joining us now with what we can expect. Stephen.
Yeah, it's been a nice break today, Rich, and we are tracking a dry day for the most part tomorrow. This next system, which is spreading out to our south, is going to push rain back into the area primarily for the afternoon and evening. So up until about 5 o'clock, you have dry weather, and it will be a little milder after a chilly start. Here's what we're looking at on the next couple of days. Late day rain tomorrow, a 50-50 Saturday, meaning some wet weather to start, dry weather to end, and some sunshine coming back on Sunday. I'll show you the hour-by-hour updates, when it begins, the rain, and when it ends on Saturday coming up.
All right, thanks, Stephen. In newly released jailhouse phone calls, the man accused of hitting and killing a teenager outside her school says there is an agenda to put him in prison. William Soliday was in court today for a bond hearing. He was denied bond again after prosecutors played a phone call with Soliday saying he, quote, has no respect for cops.
There's an agenda and you can't change it. So I did wrong, but there's wrong and there's fair and there's wrong and there's a point being made.
Samantha Kalkbrenner was just 15 years old when she was killed last fall. Her father exclusively told Channel 11 that those phone calls show Soliday's lack of remorse.
He needs to be accountable. He needs to feel remorse. His whole family needs to feel remorse for what has happened.
The defense says Soliday is going through a mental health crisis. He's set to go on trial April 25th. That would be the day after Samantha's birthday. And a man is accused of robbing the same downtown store twice in the same week. The owner of Apparel House on Smithville Street in downtown Pittsburgh says the thief took clothes and accessories on Monday and then returned on Thursday, taking shoes, suits, sports coats, and hats.
Since he got away with it the first time, he gonna do it again. I was thinking to sleep inside the store.
The owner says he lost between $15,000 and $20,000 worth of merchandise. Police are asking anyone with information to contact them.
A $150 million light rail project just weeks from getting underway. We first told you about this last night on 11 at 11. Tonight, more than 100 T-riders gathered in Beechview to learn more and share their concerns with Pittsburgh Regional Transit.
I am fully reliant on public transit here.
Amy Zace tells us she doesn't drive and is concerned. Okay, so what's it going to mean to you when this shuts down?
It's a huge disruption because there's no equivalent bus service.
PRT will be completing a series of projects starting in April with a target finish of 2028. Like many in Beechview, Amy is a Red Line rider.
The infrastructure improvements will be a benefit to the community, but at the same time, I think we want to be sure that we're taken care of.
That line will close for nearly 3 months this summer.
People, when they're waiting on the T or the bus that's going to be shuttling them now, it's very important that that bus is on time, just like the T.
Officials with Pittsburgh Regional Transit say a combination of buses and alternate T routes will be in place for affected riders. PRT is aiming to hire 100 more operators by June to help fill the gap.
It really depends on which detour they're going to be taking. We don't think it's going to, we don't anticipate that it should take any more than 10 or 20 minutes additional.
Others had concerns about space. The T holds more than double the passengers of a bus. One woman mentioned issues with wheelchairs. PRT officials said drivers would be reminded about the correct protocol for handling them. Adam Randolph with PRT says doing the projects back-to-back like this will save time in the long run.
We're sort of pulling off the Band-Aid, if you will, of making sure that we can get in there, finish it all up, and then hopefully we can go back to normal. We won't have to then do these projects for another 20, 30, 40 years.
There is one more meeting before that project gets going. It'll be online on April 2nd. We have more information on that on WPXI.com. The dance continues for the Duquesne Dukes. A thrilling upset coming down to the wire. Channel 11's Shelby Cassesi joining us now in studio with the win. And what's next? Shelby.
Yeah, Rich, it's history for Duquesne, and it extends the career of Coach Keith Dambrot. Duquesne went into the game with BYU as the underdog, number 11 seed, but they came out of the gate strong and held on for the upset. Their first tournament win since 1969, and fans were everywhere on campus and at local bars cheering on the Dukes. Among those cheering for them, a connection to the last time the Dukes were in the tournament. Duquesne legend B.B. Flannery was on the last Dukes NCAA tournament team in 1977.
Just to see the young men get an opportunity to go to the tournament, they'll remember it the rest of their lives, and I'm so happy for the fans, the players, and especially Coach Dambrot with his wife having cancer, and he wanted to go to the tournament for his father. So I'm very happy for those guys.
The next game for Duquesne is on Saturday. They'll take on number 3 seed Illinois. Coach Dambrot is going to retire after the run is over for the Dukes. We'll hear from him about the win in just a few minutes. I'm Shelby Cassesi, Channel 11 News.
All right, thanks, Shelby. Could the Pennsylvania National Guard be heading to the southern border? What the governor is saying about a growing push in Harrisburg to do just that.
A controversial class assignment in a Pennsylvania classroom, the lesson on slavery that parents say went too far.
They were never told they had traffic violation tickets, but their car lease bill went up.
I was pretty much told I was guilty without even knowing about what occurred.
11 investigates next, the fallout continuing from a controversial school bus ticketing program.